Hi, everyone. We're so excited to welcome you to our next webinar, Cracking the Code to Maximizing People ROI with Betterworks Advanced Analytics. Before we get started, I'd like to go over a couple housekeeping items so that you know how to participate in today's event. This webinar is being recorded and all attendees will receive the recording post-event. All attendees are in view-only mode. Please submit any questions for our presenters in the Ask a Question box below the slide screen. You may send in your questions at any time during the presentation, and the speakers will address them during the Q&A portion of the event. We also have Donal Murphy from Visier here for that portion of the webinar as well. If you run into any technical issues, please submit your question in the Ask a Question box as well, and our producer will help you troubleshoot. Please also notice the clipboard widget on the far right of the dock. That's our feedback survey. If you could please take a moment to complete the survey before leaving the platform, we'd greatly appreciate it. It helps us shape future webinars. Before I hand it over to our moderator, I wanted to share a couple of things. Our recently released State of Performance Enablement report is available in the related content section of the console. It's filled with key findings around what employees and managers want from performance management and what they can expect of their organizations. Be sure to download your copy. Please also be sure to RSVP for our next webinar, the State of Performance Enablement from AI to Stellar Employee Experience on July 27th. And lastly, we're excited to share that our CEO, Doug Dennerlein, and VP of HR Transformation, Jamie Aitken, have written a book called Make Work Better, Revolutionizing How Great Bosses Lead, Give Feedback, and Empower Employees. You can learn more at makeworkbetter.com. The link is also in the related content section of the console. Now, without further ado, I'd like to introduce Arnaud Grunwald, Chief Product Officer at Betterworks, and Paul Augustin, Director of Solutions Engineering. Arnaud, over to you.
Hey, Alex, thank you so much for the introduction. Hi, everyone. Welcome to this new installment of our Product Innovation webinar. This is a webinar that we host on a quarterly basis to showcase the latest and greatest with our product innovation. I'm really excited today. It is the culmination of 6 months of hard work, but the result is no short of amazing, as you will see in the demo by Paul in the second part of the webinar. So I'm thrilled to see so many of you in attendance today. Please bear with me, please bear with my slides. You will be amazed at what Paul will show you. So it's really worth going through the pain of listening to me. Before we diving into advanced analytics per se, I'd love to give folks an overview of what it is that we do at Betterworks. This is a slide that even if it's the middle of the summer, we like to have this slide that gives you chills, right? It's the winter of performance management, right? You soak in the cold reality here. There's numerous studies that show you that employees, managers, leadership alike give a failing grade to performance management. It is a process that people very much love to hate. And it's a truth that we all know, and at Betterworks, we are determined to change that narrative. We like to shake things up, we like to break the ice, and bring performance management out of that deep freeze. And we do that by introducing what we call performance enablement, which is based on a new set of tenets that you can see on the slide here. We think that people are engaged and are more effective when they have meaningful work, when they have clarity in the expectations that are set for them, and also clarity in the tracking of these expectations over time, and that transparency and flexibility that modern goal setting provide. We believe that the manager needs to act as a coach through frequent conversations, frequent feedback, frequent recognition, to be able to hold the hand of the employee to achieve stellar outcomes. And then finally, we are future forward. We like employees to think not only about their goals today, but about who they want to become in the organization. And so next to your business goals and your business feedback and your business conversations, we overlay development goals, development feedback, development conversations, career conversations, to make sure that there's something in it for the employee. Our solution comprises several modules that you can see on the outer circle here. We generate employee engagement surveys to know how people are feeling, how engaged they are, and provide context for all the rest of the modules, namely goal setting and tracking, one-on-ones, to tactically talk about, on a weekly basis, you have your one-on-ones with your direct reports, your managers. You want to have effective meetings to make sure that things are on track, and or apply that flexibility to the goals of the day. Feedback and recognition, conversations that can take the form of check-ins, weekly check-ins, performance reviews, all the way to talent calibration. And frankly speaking, we are not the only ones in the market providing this set of modules. Where we differentiate in is how we deliver these capabilities. The modules are really not siloed. They are delivered through a connected experience. So when you give someone feedback, you can see their goals. When you have a one-on-one with someone, you can see their latest feedback and recognition. Context is constantly being provided to ensure that the conversations, the relationships are rich. We are an enterprise-grade platform, but we strive to deliver a consumer-grade user experience. We know that people don't like to go to their performance management tool, so we constantly push the limits of user experience delight. And one of the ways we differentiate is by tearing down the walls of performance management and delivering performance management activities in the flow of work. So we have plugins in your email inboxes. We have bots in Microsoft Teams and Slack that really allow you to do performance management without going to betterworks.com. And that contributes to the user delight. We're designed for global, and the star of the show today is actionable insights. We are sitting on a goldmine of data, as we'll review, and we like to say that we owe it to our customers to deliver great insights. So enough about Betterworks. Let's talk about you, the HR leader. You have put, or you will put, a great performance enablement system and program in place that employees like to engage with and find value in. Great, fine. Now, what we were thinking about same time last year is, how can we further empower you, the HR leader? What should be the next big thing on your agenda as an HR leader? Well, our belief is that as an HR leader, you have a unique vantage point on people that other executives, other leaders in the company do not have. Simply said, you can see people, right? And we think that's where that next item on your agenda should be, to leverage this deep understanding of employees and to bring serious, tangible, practical, strategy-changing insights and business impact to the C-level. So let's talk about that. Let's talk about imagining how you can be that provider of success to the entire organization, how you can be the gatekeeper of organizational greatness, right? But it's not as easy as it sounds, right? It's only possible to do that if you have strategic data about your people, about their performance, the impact on the business, and things like that. If you have that data, if you have these insights, then the magic happens, and you can be that superhero of the executive team. Because the executive team, they have tough questions, right? But how cool would it be if you had a crystal ball of deep people performance data and insights, and and we're able to reveal the hidden potential of your workforce and answer some of the questions that are on the slide here. The CEO will ask, what are the best predictors of future performance and success? The Chief Strategy Officer will ask, do we have engaged performers on our biggest initiatives, right? The engineering leader will say, do I have the right team to have the right outcome? And if you have the right data that are connected, you can answer these questions. Let's go to a quick poll. What do you believe is the primary reason why you may not be able to get answers to these kinds of strategic people performance questions today? What is that hindrance to getting these data and these insights? Alex, I'll let you drive it. So it's a multiple choice answer. What are the hindrance points to getting these kinds of strategic people performance questions today? A, disjointed data. The data doesn't talk to one another. It's too hard to bring them under one roof. We need a better understanding of what's possible with the data that we have. You have the data, but you don't really know what to do or how to get there. Or is it on the tool side? The analytics tools we use focus on operational metrics such as headcount, turnover, time and attendance, kind of rear-facing metrics. Or is it all of the above? Or tell me if you actually are able to answer these questions today and have amazing tools and metrics and dashboards at your fingertips to answer these executive questions. So I'll let the data come in. But the data is very telling, 61%. So a lot of you struggle with disjointed data, don't know what's possible with the data, what's the art of the possible, and don't have the analytics tools or the expertise or the experience to use these tools and to deliver these insights. I love to see this result because I think you're in the right webinar. So disjointed data, the slide says it all, right? In HR technology, we deal with a lot of concepts, right? But they live in silos very often. They live in different places. They live in different tools. They live in different processes. The data don't talk to one another. They don't have the same source. They don't have primary keys to join them, etc. Right? You have, I can take a couple of examples. You have your survey tool, and then you have your talent marketplace tool, and then you have your compensation tool, and you have your LMS and your performance management tool, and all is disjointed. So it's really a hard thing that we're trying to do here. And not only that, once you are able to get some data, piece together some data, it's a challenge to make them come to life because existing people analytics tools tend to not be strategic, tend to be very transactional, backward-looking, not people-centric, looking at simple, tactical metrics such as my headcount, my turnover, diversity metrics, breakdown by demographics. In your learning management system, you have course completion. Yeah, it's kind of siloed, either demographics analysis or adoption type of analysis or program kind of analysis. But what we believe is that there's really a place for strategic, people-centered, long-term oriented insights. And we are not the only ones to believe this. There's a professor here, Emilio Castilla, at the MIT Sloan School of Business, that is talking at length about how talent analytics need to have a strategic, people-centered, long-term oriented approach to be able to address the challenge of today. So that's what we're doing, and that's what we're here to announce today with Betterworks Advanced Analytics, which is a new product that we are introducing, that we've been working on with our partner Visier, and it's completely embedded within the Betterworks system, first of all, right? So it's available to some of your users in the performance management platform itself. You don't have to go to another platform. It is embedded, it is integrated in the real estate of the tool, but also in how the tool functions, right? So you just have to click and it shows up. And the same rights and permissions are being kept, etc. You don't have to worry about data privacy. It's exactly the same experience. And we are leveraging the rich people performance enablement data that we have. As we will see, we have tens of millions of data points at Betterworks about how people are engaged, about what they're working on through their goals and how they're progressing, the feedback that they're getting from their peers, from their managers, how they stack up year in, year out in terms of performance, in terms of potential, in terms of risk of loss, in terms of impact of loss. Just we have this wealth of data, and this is exacerbated by the fact that we believe in continuous performance management, which means that people on average come to our platform once a week. And when they come to our platform, they create data, right? So it's very different from the old world of traditional performance management, where you set your goals, maybe you do a check-in in July, and then in December, you try to reflect on what's happened throughout the year, and you forgot, 60% of what we actually accomplished. Through the Betterworks platform, you have access to this continuous flow of information and very rich data set that can be analyzed. So we have the data. We have a lot of these data sets that I was showing on the disjointed data slide. We needed the right partner to have impactful visualizations that help us tell the story that's in the data, that guides the user through insights, because not everyone is an analytics expert. How can we use this complex data and create a flow of insights that is easy to understand for everyone and easy for non-analytics people to get insights from and have that impact that we were talking on the organization. And also, last but not least, we picked the right partner in terms of tool, but we needed to apply our experience to shape this story that we wanted to tell. So I'm going to tell you a little bit more about that. Before that, of course, you can see the data points that we have, right? 2.5 million conversations, hundreds of thousands of feedback, millions of feedback questions answered and goals created. Really the fact that we are advocating, and we are lucky to have customers who really believe in continuous performance management, generates more data continuously and creates more opportunities to derive insightful information from that data. And we're bringing it all together. As you can see, we're building sort of a backbone there with all these data. So I already went through the list, but goals, feedback, recognition, performance ratings, conversations with your manager, engagement, ENPS, and all that seen through the lens of employee data that of course, we connect with HRIS systems. So we have employee demographics and other types of employee data to bring it all together and be able to slice and dice. And the Visier platform, so we partnered with the leader in people analytics, Visier. Visier platform adds the ease of use on top of that data, right? it's so easy to go through, as you will see in the demo, to go through a question-based flow of visualizations, and you have breakdowns, you have trend lines, you have funnels, you have movement slides. It's a complete platform, a complete business intelligence platform with all the filtering and grouping and comparisons and benchmarking and kind of type of features that you can expect, but also collaboration features, such as annotating graphs, sharing graphs with each other so that we can talk about it, schedule analyses so that they land in your inbox every Monday and you don't have to go in the platform, and so on and so forth, as you will see in what Paul will show you. So Visier really was the perfect partner for us to put this data into a story and make the data come to life. And so what we were launching today is a set of dashboards. We have 8 dashboards, as you will see. We have over 100 visualizations organized by key business question. And they're aimed at making it very simple for you to figure out what makes high-performing employees stand out from the crowd. As you will see, we have focused on 3 large themes to get started, right? And these themes are performance, so analyzing performance trends, where are performers, where are low performers, etc. DEIB, as it pertains to performance management. Are we being fair? Are we being diverse in how we carry out our performance management process? And then learning and development. How is learning and development impacting employee performance? And as I will tell you later on this webinar, this is just the start, right? We had to start somewhere, and we thought these are 3 themes that are important to each and every of our customers: performance analysis, diversity, equity, inclusion, belonging dashboards, and learning and development dashboards. One more slide, I promise, and then I'll hand it over to the star of the show, Paul Augustin, with a demo. This is what you're going to see. You're going to see graphs that are very clear about the question that is being answered, about the decision that you can make, and about the impact that it can have. And of course, it is further filterable, customizable to your needs. You can save it, you can make it your own, you can create a new dashboard from it. It is very flexible that way. So without further ado, Paul, take it away with the demo and show us how amazing advanced analytics is.
Thanks, Arnaud. Thanks, Alex. Before I get started, I just want to make sure, can everyone see my screen okay? Alex, can you see it?
Yes, we can.
All right, perfect. So I know you all are very excited to get into advanced analytics, but I want to spend 5 minutes just to orient folks to some of the things Arnaud shared earlier in the webinar. He talked a lot about, Betterworks being a very, flexible and lightweight system that drives engagement within your organizations. And I want to just spend a few minutes to orient some of you folks how we help do that. So one of the ways that we do that is we can take your program and really support it by bringing those different components that Arnaud talked about earlier. So for a lot of organizations, they're using our system for performance enablement. And so from a scheduled standpoint, they can push out these check-ins, and it's a framework that helps drive the right discussions between your organizations. Now, as employees and managers are having those discussions, as Arnaud mentioned, we start to pull in those other data elements from within the Betterworks platform. We can pull in your goals or objectives. We can pull in the feedback that you've received. All of the main components that you need to make these talent management decisions. So by knowing the impact folks are making, what they're working on, the outcomes they're driving towards, it's the perfect opportunity to really ask your managers and your teams, how is this person performing? What is their potential like? What's their risk of loss? We can connect to all of these different data elements and surface that up for you. The other point that drives that once a week engagement that Arnaud talked about was we can embed ourselves into the flow of work for you. So instead of having to be in the Betterworks platform itself, if you're using things like Teams, Slack, Gmail, we can actually embed ourselves. So a manager going in and responding to some emails, they can easily see how their team, their employees are tracking on their objectives. If they want to request or give feedback to them, these are all things that they can do from the comfort of their email inbox. And this meeting folks in the flow of work, as well as pulling all of those different elements together, really helps drive that once a week engagement that we're seeing across the Betterworks platform. And as Arnaud mentioned earlier, all of that is leading to this gold mine of data. And I'm really excited to share with you all our advanced analytics platform, because that gold mine of data partnered with Visier's easy to use platform has really helped unearth all of this rich insights that you all have within your organizations. So here you're seeing the advanced analytics homepage. So whether you're an HR administrator or an HR leader, you're coming into the platform and you have this view that breaks down what's important for you. Arnaud mentioned earlier, we've worked with our customers and industry thought leaders, and we've identified certain areas that are top of mind for them. And so that's what you're going to see when you log into your home screen here. You can see the program adoption, employee performance, as well as how are we doing across DEIB and learning and development within your organization. Now, many of us, including myself, aren't data experts. And so we've designed these guidebooks so that when you drill into them, it does follow that Q&A approach. So here you can see a set of questions that are top of mind for you and your organization, answering things. So for example, we just rolled out a goal setting program. We want to understand, how are folks doing on their goals? Like, are there pockets of the organization that don't have goals? So I can actually come in, drill down into a pre-built dashboard where I can see across different departments where are those employees without goals. I can drill into this dashboard, and I have the ability to add additional layers to this to really slice and dice this data. So I'm looking at it from a department perspective. Maybe there's other avenues that I want to look at, like is there an age discrepancy when it comes to the goal setting? And I have the ability to, again, zero in on that data, slice it the way that I want to based on my organizational needs. And then if I need to drill down into certain things, like let's say, for example, I want to really focus on the IT organization, I can drill down into the IT organization, see, how does that break down across the business units that make up my IT department. And then if I want to focus on that data, I can come in and say, you know what, we're really focused on some of the next generation that's coming into the workforce. I have the ability to then again apply these different views to really hone in and focus on the data to help me make these organizational decisions as how do we want to revamp this program? Maybe there's an area that we need to focus on. The data is helping me interpret that. And with this data, this is something that I might want to be able to come back into. And so with a simple click, I can capture that data. It's going to go to my capture section, which I'll show you in a little bit, so that I can refer back to it, see how things are progressing from that standpoint. But what's great about this, that data that Betterworks has been collecting, we're unearthing it here within the advanced analytics platform. So if I want to take a look again at this information, maybe I want to see how this is comparing to last quarter. And so with a few simple clicks, I can come in, I can take a look at how this is comparing to last period. And I can see that, compared to last period, there's actually a few more folks within the operations department and across the board that haven't been setting their goals. So this is a signal for me as a team that we might want to push out some additional training, maybe send out some communication to remind folks to go and get those goals in. But again, you're able to do these things very easily through the advanced analytics platform. But it's not just about how your program is doing. Going back to those guidebooks, we can start to tap into, employee performance, DIB data that we're pulling from your HRIS system into Betterworks. So I can come in here and I can take a look at my performance distribution. So again, taking a look at this, we see all of the different questions that we can answer within this. I can expand it out and see across those different dashboards that, again, we've built out of the box for your organization to really start to drill down into how things are trending. And so, for example, I might want to look at, how is performance ratings breaking down across different locations within my organization. Again, I can drill down into here. I can see the data. I can focus in on different things within here, and all of that we're able to do, within with just at your fingertips, touching into these different data elements. So from performance ratings to DIB, equity, inclusion, I can start to look at things like, again, how are these different lenses correlating with all of those different elements that Betterworks is touching upon around goals, conversations, performance. So from a DIB perspective, I might want to start to focus on, how is performance evolving across different groups? And again, we have different dashboards here that we've pre-built for you, but I want to zero in specifically on, let me get to it, how performance is evolving across my diversity groups. So here we might want to take a look at our different ethnic groups within our organization. Again, the power of our advanced analytics platform, we have these pre-built dashboards, but based on kind of how you want to interpret the data, you can come in and create different visualizations. So for me, I might like bar charts like you're seeing here. So I might want to see at a high level, how is that post-calibration rating looking like across my different ethnic groups. I can then compare that to what it looked like last year. And we can see that there's an increase within our Hispanic and Latino population, which is fantastic because we did put a concerted effort to make sure that that group really understood the value that they were bringing in and how to drive higher outcomes there. But we're noticing that there are some other parts of the organization where it might be decreasing. That's the power of advanced analytics with the Betterworks data that we're starting to expose to you as an organization, that you're able to look and compare this data from different vantage points. Now, a lot of this data, again, is out of the box. You can access it because of the Visier platform that we're built upon. It makes a lot of things really simple and easy for your organization when it comes to sharing that information. So for example, being able to download this information to PDFs or PowerPoints, sharing that to other folks within my organization, even scheduling this data at a regular cadence so that it's accessible to you, you can all do that with a few simple clicks. And in many cases, instead of having to prepare those PowerPoint presentations, you can actually present the findings that you're seeing within the data directly from Betterworks and the advanced analytics platform. So if we want to review how performance management is happening from a DIB lens, I can come in and actually start to take a look at that data and present it to my team and organization in real time here within the platform. But out of all of these, out of the box dashboards that we have, we also know that every organization is a little bit different. You want to make sure that you're looking at your data and answering the questions that's important to you. And so you can easily do that with the analyses portion of the advanced analytics platform. And so we can go in and actually create our own screens that you saw there before. So for example, one of the elements that we're pulling in from our HRIS is we've identified critical roles within the organization. And so I can actually come in here and create my own dashboards. There's a couple of pre-built dashboards that are already in here, but if I wanted to go in and add additional dashboards, I can do that by pulling in those captures that I was taking in earlier, or creating a brand new chart that really focuses in that I can then customize based on what I need. Again, we start to unlock all of these capabilities when it comes to getting insights into your data, creating your own custom data. You will be able to do that all here within the Advanced Analytics platform. So, I could spend hours and hours drilling into these different data points. Arnaud, I'm going to just throw it back to you. Is there anything else you want me to showcase or highlight? I know we want to just give folks a high-level overview on some of the insights we can provide, the capabilities that Advanced Analytics brings to the table now with the Betterworks data. Is there anything else you want me to touch on, while I'm here?
No, I think you did a fabulous job, Paul. Thank you so much. And there's much more to unpack, but of course, in a short webinar where we don't have the time to go through all the themes, all the capabilities, and all the wow moments that this platform can provide. But having spent myself quite a bit of time in the platform, I keep getting wowed. And so I hope we have an opportunity to show it to you all. If you'd be so kind to raise your hand and email us if you're curious. So just to quickly summarize what we've seen today, we just released the Betterworks Advanced Analytics. It is available now, right? So we turn it on for all customers. You should have received an email. We turn it on for all customers on Tuesday morning. It is meant to be visible by HR leaders, HR administrators in Betterworks, and also super admins. So you can talk to your customer success managers if you don't see it, but it should be turned on for all HR admins and super admins. It is centered around the concept of performance analytics, DEIB in performance analytics, and learning and development in performance analytics, which are, as Paul described, kind of ready to go dashboards, visualizations focused on the key questions that we have heard again and again from our customers and that we wanted to make available to you. And allow me to catch up on the slide. And the beauty of what Paul described is that not only you have out-of-the-box reports, which you are used to in other platforms, right? There's always a set of graphs that are available to you. You can make it your own, or if there's a visualization that doesn't exist to meet your need, you can show it. You can make it up. You can create it, show it. You can make it happen. You can save it. You can share it. And so this kind of the world is your oyster, right? Of course, we wanted to provide you with a baseline content that will be useful to all customers. But if you want to get further, there is a package that we call the premium package that allows you to have access to all the data that we make available to Visier and to do the slicing and dicing that you dream of. So, of course, if you're itching to find out more, I see there's a lot of questions in the Q&A. We'll try to address most of them, but feel free to reach out to your customer success manager or to respond to the emails that we have sent you in the context of this webinar. I believe there will be a follow-up email. We are also itching to show more to you. So don't be shy. I wanted to tell you about the future of advanced analytics, because this is just phase one, right? Of course, we give 3 themes, 8 dashboards for 2 roles, super admins and HR business partners. We're going to keep innovating together with Visier. We're going to provide the platform more data. We're going to give it give access to more people in the organization around more themes. So, for instance, on the persona side, we want eventually people managers to have access to not all analyses, but some of the analyses. You want your people managers to own their data. And of course, you already have manager insights in Betterworks that is a great sort of team program health dashboard, as I like to call it. But there's so many more questions that people managers want an answer for. So we will give access to people managers eventually. We will work on more themes. We will bring more data in. So talking about the manager, we hear that the market is really talking a lot about manager effectiveness these days. Why? Because in a time of economic constraints, you need to do more with less, right? And so you need your managers to step up. And gosh, have they needed to step up during the pandemic already? So they have many more hats to wear, and they have many more KPIs and metrics to track. So we want to come up with manager effectiveness dashboards for them, the managers, but also for you, the HR leader, to be able to provide the right oversight and the right guidance to your managers. We do know in Betterworks when people are leaving the organization. We do know when they are getting promoted, when they change titles. So we want to get to attrition prediction, attrition analytics, and understand the root causes of attrition and see if you can prevent attrition if you see the early signals in the data. And last but not least, we have an engagement platform. We want to bring the engagement data to be able to cross-correlate it, to do cross-tab analysis with performance, with feedback, with recognition. Are people getting more engaged when they receive recognition? Are your top engaged employees providing feedback to the other people in the organization, creating a halo effect? Am I losing engaged employees? Are my exits related to a drop in engagement over time? All these fascinating questions we'll be able to answer. And not only that, we'll also innovate in the way we deliver these analytics. Right now, it is, you could see, we have a tab called Advanced for Advanced Analytics that Paul described and went to. We want to pepper our entire platform with such visualizations. We have the capability to embed these analytics within your program in the flow of the program, and have intelligent notifications, so that analytics is not just a destination. It is an ever existing set of data that provides constant context to your users. And I would be remiss not to mention AI, and we're partnering with Visier on innovating on the AI front. And could you ask the data a question, right? Not even creating a graph by yourself. Can you ask a question and the system stands up an analysis that answers the question? How amazing will it be when we get there? Well, we are well on the way, I'm happy to report. And so a very exciting vision and roadmap that will unfold in the next few quarters, right? We're not going to take years here. We're going to bring more data, we're going to enable managers, and we're going to bring AI into the fold to provide an even more awesome experience to all of you. So I'll leave you with just one thought. I started to talk about it. In times of uncertain economy, you need to do more with less. So if you look at your ROI equation, you want to maximize the numerator with a lower or fixed denominator, since you're not able to hire more, you're not able to spend more on your employees. So you need to optimize that workforce impact numerator. And for that, you need to understand what enables engagement, what enables stellar performance and positive business outcomes. And we really believe that with advanced analytics, we can help you optimize that numerator value. So with that, thank you so much for your attention. Stay with us. We're going to address some of the questions in the Q&A.
Hey, thank you so much, Arnaud and Paul. Really appreciate the presentation. We do have a couple of questions that have come in. The first one is for Arnaud. Will the analytics be available in the Betterworks Team Edition?
No, we are turning on advanced analytics for mid-market and enterprise customers, not for Team Edition, which is now called Betterworks Go.
Awesome. And we've got one for Paul. Will we need to change out API settings as in feed our demographic data from our HRIS to Betterworks? And do we need to create a custom field since that data doesn't currently feed? Paul, if you have any insights on that, that would be greatly appreciated.
Yeah, that's a great question. So you don't need to create a custom field. We've actually done all of that work in the back end. There's a couple of new support articles. You can work with your CSM or our support team that will give you some information on, what are the new fields, how do you map them back to. So you won't need to update anything in terms of like the API. You'll just need to make sure that you're mapping certain fields like gender identity or region back to the new fields in our system. But reach out to your CSM or check our support site. We have more details there on how to bring those data fields into Betterworks.
Awesome. And this might be another good follow-up question there, Paul. Do we have the ability to track ethnicity globally, US, EMEA, Brazil, all track race, ethnicity, so forth and so on differently? Any light you can provide there?
Yeah, I mean, I'll talk about it a little bit, but Donal, if you want to add anything else. Yeah, things like your region, where you're located, along with those gender identities, those are all fields that we're now capturing within Betterworks and sending over to advanced analytics powered by Visier. And then, like you saw, you have all of those different options that you can then slice and dice that data by based on how you want to take a look at it. But Donal, I'll throw it to you if there's anything else you want to add to that question.
I mean, you answered it so perfectly, Paul. I don't know what I would answer, but in general, yeah, we can consume any data about a person that you want to share. If you are not sharing that data currently, I know the customer success team over at Betterworks are wonderful folks who would be delighted to help you out in getting us that data.
Yeah, I think the question also hints at, are we forcing you into a framework of labels? We have recommended values for ethnicity, for instance. But that being said, you can input your own data. If you like to have a separate ethnicity, a very particular ethnicity reporting for Brazil, provide us that data, and the data will render in advanced analytics automatically. So the data that you feed us, we render it, and you're able to have your own particular analysis.
Awesome. We've got another question here. This one might be for Donal as well. You can add some light. Will the user experience be similar across our existing analytics, such as the HR Insights, Manager Insights, and the Visier dashboards?
So I can take that one, actually. So I think Arnaud mentioned it in passing, but we will respect the scope that you have across those. So if you're an HR business partner that only has visibility into like your finance and your sales team, when you go into advanced analytics, that is going to be the only thing that you have access to. And advanced analytics, like you saw in the demo, it's embedded in the Betterworks platform. So you'll see it under that Insights tab, and it'll be right next to Manager HR Insights and showing the little Visier logo there as well.
Okay. Is there a professional services component to the offering? For example, do we offer any support if we want program support to create some custom dashboards?
Yes, the answer is yes. So we do have a stellar, amazing professional services organization, and for customers that go the premium package route, they can opt to have a services package that includes holding your hand through the process of bringing additional data, doing workshops in terms of what you want to create, and helping you create custom dashboards if you need to.
Wonderful. And we've got, looks like another question here. can I get my external non-Betterworks performance data into the Betterworks Advanced Analytics? And with this question, I think that there's an opportunity here. If anyone who's watching today has specific data you'd love to pull into Betterworks, please be sure to comment that over into the chat or reach out to us separately. But if any of the folks, any of our panelists and speakers want to shed some light there, please feel free here.
Well, I think the answer is, this is a tool to enhance the experience and the value provided by HR leaders who are leveraging the Betterworks platform. So the data flows from the Betterworks platform. And so in terms of performance data, you will get data from our calibration system, our conversation system. And of course, we have worked hard to create these mappings and so that the data flows seamlessly. So if I understand the question right, can the data come from another performance system? My answer would be no, because these analytics are really configured to work with the Betterworks platform.
Yep, that makes sense. That's the conclusion of our Q&A portion. Just wanted to thank Arnaud, Donal, and Paul so much for joining us. On behalf of Betterworks, and we would like to thank you all for attending today's webinar. As a reminder, please take a moment to select the clipboard icon and complete our feedback survey before leaving the platform today. Lastly, we'd like to again invite you to join our next event, State of Performance Enablement from AI to Stellar Employee Experience, on July 27th. Thank you all and have a great rest of your day. Thank you.
Thank you, everyone.
Thank you.